Hey friends, Gary here. Welcome to today's video. I just went back from a big trip to Denmark, Iceland and Finland. I was away for a few weeks. Some of you guys might already know. You might already seen some of my YouTube posts. I posted some pictures while I was away, but I didn't reply to any comments while I was away because I want to be present and I want to enjoy my trip. But today I want to answer and reply some of the comments and questions that I got on my channel while I was away from you guys. So yeah, let's begin. I want to try to keep this as short and as simple but as fun as possible. First question is by The Not Want. Whoa, where is that? And yeah, I posted a picture a few weeks ago and that was taken from Gringolandiaenglish, Iceland. That is the most famous mountain in Iceland called Kirkjufell. If you guys watch Games of Thrones, maybe you already saw that mountain. But yeah, I was very lucky. We were able to capture Kirkjufell with the northern light above it. That was just so beautiful. I was rushing into the parking lot with my GF9 and the Panasonic Leica 9mm f1.7, set up the tripod quickly, grabbed some shots, and the aurora was already gone and I got this picture. Next question is by Fermis8344. I will put the question on the screen. I don't want to read the whole thing because it'll take too long. But yeah, between G100 and the GX9 Mark II, it's a difficult question. For an all-rounder kind of camera, I gravitated slightly towards the G100 nowadays because I brought my G100 to Iceland and it was able to capture all sorts of different kinds of things. That's my one camera, but it doesn't have IBIS, so hopefully on the next iteration of the G100, they will put face detect autofocus as well as IBIS. But the GX9 Mark II, yeah, that's an interesting camera as well, and I want that too as well because of the rangefinder form factor. I think it is better for street photography, everyday photography, when you just want to go out and grab some shots and do it with a camera that feels nice, that feels handsome when you use it. Yeah, GX9 with face detect autofocus will be excellent. Next question also from Fermis8344. I will put the question right there. It's not really a question, just a comment. But yes, the G100 was mind-blowingly fun. I had a great time using G100 while I was in Iceland. I think it was an excellent travel and all-rounder camera. It's just so nice to use it. And yeah, the 35 to 100mm mini telephoto lens, I love it as well. One of my favorite telephoto lens for sure. Next question from borisaucarre. I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong. I will put the question on the screen right now. But yeah, basically filming with G100. I'm not really a professional videographer or filmmaker, anything like that. I'm not claiming to be an expert, but sometimes I like to make talking head videos as well as recording some montages, B-roll, stuff like that with the G100. So yeah, first of all, when you want to do B-roll, I'd like to keep it as simple as possible. Forget about the 180-degree rule, that kind of stuff. I don't care about the shutter speed. I just set my G100 to aperture priority in video mode and just set the aperture and auto ISO and start recording right away. Usually, I'm recording in 25 frames per second, but that really depends on your preference. You can also record in 24 for more cinematic kind of look, and also 30 frames per second for more television kind of look. That's it. And then for talking head video, like what I'm doing right now, make sure you use an external microphone. Just point your camera into your face and start talking, like what I'm doing right now. Next comment from RogueSplice, and he was referring to this picture. I will put the picture as well. And also he's referring to the 3 new camera announcement while I was away. And first of all, the picture, yes, thank you. That's from a waterfall called Gufufoss. It's very near to the small town of Seyðisfjörður in eastern Iceland. That was really a beautiful place and really underrated as well because there are lots of locations that you can explore in eastern Iceland and you can get some beautiful shots with your camera for sure. And regarding the announcement of 3 new Panasonic Lumix products, yeah, we didn't get anything, right? I didn't read the news while I was away, but yeah, all that I know is that there was just the new Panasonic Lumix S9 with a new color and some new application updates, but that's about it. So yeah, unfortunately, no new Micro Four Thirds camera yet. Next comment also from RogueSplice, and he was referring to one of my most recent vlog where I used my G100 with some lenses, and he was complimenting my shots with the 9mm. Yes, thank you so much. It was quite a challenge to use an ultra wide angle lens, especially if you don't have a strong foreground or point of interest, because otherwise it's just not gonna look interesting. Everything will be in the frame, and if you don't have something to tie it all together, then your picture will look boring. And then regarding the step-up rings and magnet attachment, yes, that is for my KNF Concept magnetic filter, and I actually use these filters a lot while I was in Iceland. I can easily attach ND filters and CPL filters on my lenses and capture beautiful long shutter waterfall pictures, and that was just so convenient, and I really enjoyed the result. Next, a question from Panipinky, and yeah, he was referring to the kit lens Panasonic Lumix 12 to 32mm on an Olympus EP1. Yes, definitely you can use any Panasonic Lumix Micro Four Thirds lenses on any Olympus Micro Four Thirds cameras, no problem at all. Next question from Centauri27, and yeah, he was referring to my Iceland setup. On this particular trip, I only brought my G100 and the GX850, or also known as the GF9, because they are lighter and they are more than capable enough for Iceland, even though technically the GX85 is better because it has in-body stabilizer. The problem with the GX85 for travel is that it is heavy, so for 2 camera setup, I avoided using GX85. But for future trips where I'll do more street photography and I don't need 2 camera bodies, maybe I will use the GX85 again because it is such a nice camera. Next question from Jefferson Defilerus 4923. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrong, but he was asking about lenses for portrait and external flash. Well, regarding external flash, I try to not use flashes too much these days, even though back then I was known for strobist portrait, environmental portrait photography, that kind of stuff with external flash setup. And the reason for that is because I want to try to keep things simpler, more natural, and I want to just, you know, be creative with lighting and stuff like that. Just use available light. But smaller flashes like Godox that I recently reviewed a few months ago, or the mini TT Artisan flash also works well. Regarding lenses, you might want to check out this video right, where is it, here? Or no, right here on the card above. I made a video photographing my wife with some portrait lenses, but basically, if you want to do wider environmental portrait, I can really recommend the 20mm f1.7 Panasonic Lumix lens. But if you want that classical, tighter portrait shots, go with the Olympus 45mm f1.8 or Olympus 75mm f1.8. But if you don't have the patience of using prime lenses, just use a zoom lens. Something like the Panasonic Lumix 35 to 100mm f2.8 will do a great job. Next comment from Premfigendran 9076. I'm sorry again if I'm pronouncing the name wrong. And yeah, he was asking between GX9 and EM5 Mark III, and he doesn't shoot video. Well, both are great. GX9 is basically a rangefinder style camera. Again, I think it is great, especially for street photography, EDC, and general out and about everyday camera. EM5 is obviously a more flexible choice with more features, and it is also weather sealed. So again, depending on your priorities and also your budget. But if you want just one camera that can do it all, I think EM5 is a better choice. Next comment from Fermis8344 again. We have to be careful what cameras we spend our money on. Yes, so stop tempting me with the G100. I'm sorry, that was not my intention to tempt you with the G100. I was just trying to demonstrate that even with older micro four thirds cameras, we can still have a lot of fun and great time doing photography. Whatever we have, I'm advocating on using them instead of buying new gear, and just try to push your limits and try to develop your skill with your current cameras. And he also commented a little bit about OM1, but he prefers the OM5 because it is smaller. Yes, for everyday photography, a smaller camera will always be better than something that is larger and heavier. At least that's from my experience. But yeah, good to know. OM5 and OM1 are both great cameras. Next comment from Rimarerezan5239. Well, joining the Sony Shield Club are we now? Buy Micro Four Thirds, Hello, APS-C, lol. Well, I never said buy Micro Four Thirds. In fact, I just got back from Iceland, and for my photography needs, I was using exclusively my Micro Four Thirds cameras, the G100 and GF9, as I mentioned many times already in this video. So yeah, even though I have a Sony APS-C camera right now, I use it specifically only for video, sometimes for still pictures, yes, but that is very rare. I prefer to use it only for video. But anyway, I'm not declaring that I will only use Micro Four Thirds or anything like that. I'm actually open-minded. I don't have any kind of brand loyalty. I'm not sponsored by anyone, so yeah, I will just use whatever I love. Right now, Micro Four Thirds makes the most sense to me, but I'm open to any ideas. In fact, right now I have a Leica M8.2 and I use it as well. Next comment from the Note 1. Congrats on getting an Aurora show. It's not guaranteed. Going to be doing the same thing with my GX850 in a couple of weeks. Yes, thank you very much. I was very fortunate that while we are in Iceland, we were able to capture some beautiful northern lights in some different locations. So yeah, the solar activity was pretty high. We got a very strong Aurora show while we were in Reykjavik, and it was just like dancing in the sky. And yeah, my GF9 with the Panasonic Leica 9mm f1.7 did a really great job capturing these auroras, so I call it my Aurora capturing machine. Next comment from M43 user, and he was mentioning about how small the little Panasonic Lumix 35 to 100mm lens is. And yes, it is an excellent little telephoto lens. It is very small, very lightweight, and that's why it is my favorite. And although it is small and lightweight, the picture quality of that particular lens is just superb. I was able to capture distant landscapes easily with that guy. Next comment from gringolandiaenglish, and he was basically asking about what camera that he should get after he got the GF9. Should he get a GX9 or GX85? And yeah, again, I'm an advocate of using what you already have. I mean, the GF9 is a great camera by itself. I mean, I brought it to Iceland and it suddenly became my Aurora capturing machine easily. It was able to capture anything. So what I want to say is, try to use it first. Don't get tempted to get a new camera just yet. Push it to its limits and see what you require. Because if you haven't used it yet and you're already thinking about your next camera, while it is fun and enjoyable, and if you have the budget, of course, you can just go ahead and buy a new camera. But I think it is wise to just use the GF9 for a period first before you can decide on the next camera. However, both the GX85 and the GX9 are great choices. Choose the GX9 if you need that extra megapixel, which isn't a lot, to be honest with you. 20 versus 16, not that much difference, but it is just handsome in my opinion. And the GX85, choose it if you record video and you don't want the 4K video to be cropped too much. Next comment is from NattyDread2593, and he was basically asking about how's the G100 going from a cool AC environment into outdoor hot, humid kind of environment. And for me personally, no problem at all. Here in Indonesia, it is also hot and humid all year round, and I was always in AC room all the time because it is so hot, and I never had any problem with condensation. But yeah, I think you should be more worried with your lenses rather than with your camera, because once I had an issue with my super zoom 14 to 140mm lens. It got some condensation, and while it doesn't really break the lens or anything, I was losing a great few minutes of time where I wasn't able to capture any photos. And it was when I was in Iceland in 2022, when I was in this beautiful canyon trying to zoom in and zoom out, and all of my photos are blurry because of the condensation. But yeah, he was also mentioning about using in-body stabilizer for slow shutter speed. Definitely you can do that, but again, in my experience, it's not going to be as dramatic as using a tripod. Maybe with newer OM system cameras, you'll be able to handhold for longer, maybe even a full seconds or more. But if you don't use tripod, then probably about half a second is what I can do with my G85 or GX85. And that's when I was lucky. I mean, probably an 1/8 of a second or something like that. Next comment from M43 user again, and he mentioned that it is dangerous for him to watch my videos because he already had the G85 and GX85, and he just got a brand new GX850 to go with its big brothers, and also he just picked up the little Lumix 35 to 100mm telephoto lens. I'm sorry about that. My intention is not to influence you to buy new lenses or cameras or things like that. I just want to showcase what I can do with these cameras and lenses, and trying to have fun with what I already have and share my passion and joy with you. So yeah, I'm sorry if that influenced you to buy new gear. But again, what I want to emphasize is that as long as you have fun doing photography with whatever cameras and lenses that you have, then I think that's great. And yeah, he was also mentioning some points regarding about being patient, waiting for cheaper deals to come out. Yeah, I think that is a very good point to share, because sometimes people will overprice the prices of the micro four thirds cameras and lenses. So you need to be patient, and you will be rewarded with products that is not inflated in terms of price. Next question from George Rodriguez, PK9QH, and he was asking about a time limit of the 4K video with the G100, and yes, I believe it's only 10 minutes. Next comment is from Patrick Gamble 9014, and he was mentioning that he had the G85 and the G100, and after he got the G85, he doesn't really like the G100 anymore. And yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, but I can understand that point as well, because G85 is a fantastic camera. It has plenty of features, it has better ergonomics, it has better manual control. So for one and only camera, I would gravitate more toward the G85, but I have the G100 and the G85 together, and they have separate functions. Next comment is from CJAnderson, and he was mentioning two camera wishes. First, a GX85 camera with the very latest micro four thirds sensor and autofocus, and the second wish is a 17mm pancake lens with the best technology and optical quality in that form factor. Well, yes, I share a very similar wish list with you, sir. GX85 with face detect autofocus will be awesome. But for the second wish list, instead of a pancake 17, I'd love to see Panasonic Lumix updating their 14mm f2.5 with something newer and probably better optic. Also the 20mm with better autofocus. I think they sorely need it. Next comment is from Untitled G100 and great video. Finally, first comment. I have GF10 and GX85. These guys are fantastic. Well, thank you so much. If you wish to be the first commenter on my videos, let me tell you a little bit of a secret. I publish my videos usually on Wednesdays and Sundays around 5:45 p.m. on GMT plus 7 time. So you can convert it yourself to your current time zone. So be there before I publish my videos. Just keep refreshing YouTube and you'll be able to comment first on any of my videos. But anyway, yes, the GF10 and GX85 both are awesome cameras. Next comment is from Nan941 and he basically mentioned about using Olympus cameras again, as well as full frame being too much money and too much to carry. Well, yes, I share the same sentiment with you. I think full frame will be beneficial if you truly need that extra horsepower, that extra megapixel, that extra blurry background blur or whatever. But yeah, especially if you are a professional photographer with specific requirements from a client, then yeah, something like a full frame or any other larger sensor cameras might make sense to you. But for us, everyday photographers, hobbyists, enthusiast photographers, travel photographer who doesn't really need that much horsepower but just wants something that is much more better compared to a smartphone camera, then something like Micro Four Thirds is better because it is smaller, it is lighter, and it can still produce top-notch image quality. Next comment again from Fermis8344 and he was looking for a GM1 that didn't cost an arm and a leg, and he got the GF9 and he's loving it, and now he's confused about what camera should he get next, EM10 or G100. And I'm sorry about the confusion, that was not my intention. I think GF9 is more than good enough, and if you need the next camera between EM10 or the what is it again, G100, for me it's different. With EM10 you have the in-body stabilizer, maybe that is important for you. And with the G100, you got a little bit more of flexibility, but with no IBIS. So you have the fully rotating screen, and for video, you have the microphone jack, and handling is a little bit better on G100. And I believe G100 is also slightly lighter compared to an EM10, but correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, it depends on your priorities. Next comment is from LostonPenalties, and he was basically asking whether he should get the 14-140 Super Zoom Panasonic Lumix lens in the original Mark I version or the Mark II version. I was referring to the f3.5 to the f5.6, not the ancient ones. And the answer is, if you don't absolutely need weather sealing, you can save a little bit of money and go with the Mark I version like what I have. It will work just fine. It is more than sharp enough for everyday uses. But if you truly need weather sealing, then Mark II will make more sense. Next comment is from Untitled G100 and again, great video, where are you? Chimak is Korean language which means chicken and beer. And yes, I'm in Yogyakarta, Indonesia. My wife and I love Korean food so much. So yeah, anything like samgyeopsal or woosamgyeop or doenjang jjigae or bibimbap, and the fried chicken, of course, which is called chimak and sometimes served with beer, is also our favorite. I suspect that maybe in an alternate universe, my wife and I are actually Korean. I don't know. Next comment is from Nix123ism, and he was basically comparing the Sony a5100 with the 16-50mm kit lens with the Panasonic Lumix GX850 with the kit lens 12-32mm. And yeah, not a whole lot of difference in terms of weight, but the a5100 will give you larger sensor, so it's a better performing camera. And yeah, that is true. If you plan to just use your kit lens, then something like the a5100 will make sense. I used the a5100 a few years ago just for a couple of shots, and it was an incredible camera. I cannot argue about that. However, if you plan to grow from just using kit lens and started using something like telephoto lenses or portrait lenses, stuff like that, I think Micro Four Thirds will provide you with significantly lighter lenses and also smaller as well. So yeah, really depends on your priorities and your needs. Next comment is from TigerPaw193, and he was talking about overlapping lenses and some of different alternative setups. And yes, I do have lots of overlapping lenses as well. But then again, that's the beauty of photography. Sometimes things doesn't have to make sense. As long as you have fun, you enjoy taking pictures, and you are motivated to capture some more beautiful shots, then that's all that matters. Next comment is from TheRealMarxz, and he was basically, evolving from using Holy Trinity f2.8 lenses to what he's currently using, which is a lot smaller, lighter, and also more fun. Well, yes, great setup that you share. Back then, I was really obsessed with using Holy Trinity lenses because I want to be taken more seriously by people, and also I was trying to validate myself. If I have these Holy Trinity lenses, then I will be regarded as a great or quote-unquote proper photographer. Now my priorities are already shifted. I already understand that it's not about the gear, it's about the person taking the picture, and how can I improve my skill, and how can I upgrade my photos without depending too much on gear. Next comment is from David McCarthy, and he was basically mentioning about not upgrading from the kit lenses just yet with his GX85. And yes, gear isn't the goal. If we can use what we already have, then I think that's okay. We don't need new gear just yet. Unless you are hitting some limitations, then probably it's time to add a new gear. So yeah, even with kit lenses, these days I can still do about 80% of what I need to capture. And the kit lens, the Panasonic Lumix 12-32, is actually a beautiful, underrated little lens as well. Next comment is from Lucas Caracedo 7421, and he was basically mentioning a point about using an Olympus 12-40mm f2.8 for travel photography instead of using smaller kit lens combined with some brighter prime lenses. And yes, I completely understand about that point. Many years ago, I loved the idea of just using my GX8 with the 12-35mm f2.8 Panasonic lens to capture anything. It was very flexible. The focal length is what I really need, except for the telephotos and the ultra wides. For about 90% of what I do, I got some great pictures. I don't have to worry about changing lenses. And the f2.8 aperture helped me in lower light situation, as well as for getting background blurs. But nowadays, yeah, I'd like to keep it very interesting by using different kinds of solutions when I travel. And it really depends on your prioritization. Yes, I can understand about using an f2.8 zoom, but sometimes it really depends either on us or on the destination, what we require from our trip. Next comment is from Centauri27 again, and he was mentioning about the Panasonic G9 Plus Olympus 12-100 combo for a cruise to Japan last year, but it ended up being too heavy, and he switched to the GX850 and he used it more than what he expected. And yes, the 12-100 Olympus lens was recommended many times on this channel, and I truly believe that it is a wonderful, amazing pro super zoom lens. But again, for me, it's too big and too heavy for my travel preferences. Maybe for some people it's okay. They prefer something that is heftier but has that professional quality and features that they need. But yeah, for me, on my last trip to Iceland, I brought my 14-140 super zoom lens from Panasonic. So I think that lens is in the middle between two grounds. So it's right in between the smaller, lighter kit lens that doesn't have enough zoom range, and it's not as big or as heavy as a professional lens, but it can still deliver good enough image quality. So yeah, actually for a super zoom, I really love my 14-140. Next comment is from Cliff Iris 880, and he's sharing a little story about using the OMD EM1 Mark II. And yes, I think it is an incredible camera and a great choice, especially since you are living in England, where it rains a lot and you need that weather sealing. The EM1 series and OM1 series has been hailed as one of the best weather sealed cameras in the world. And yeah, great choice. I hope that you enjoy using the EM1 camera. Next comment is from Unfinishedreport, and he was basically downgrading from Leica QP to Lumix GM1 and Panasonic Leica 15mm. Yes, the Panasonic Leica 15mm is a great lens. It has a very similar focal length to the lens that is built in on the Leica Q. And yeah, I love mine so much. I think it's a little bit underrated. It can take great pictures. It is great as a one prime lens for all sorts of things, for environmental portrait, for street photography, for everyday photography. I think the moderate wide angle focal length is quite flexible. Next comment is from pignonefisso, and he's looking forward to see some of my images from Denmark. Thank you, and stay tuned for my Denmark and Iceland vlogs coming right away. Next comment is from Z3D. She owns the Sony ZV-E10, but there's no viewfinder and it's difficult to use for photography basically. And she's interested that I have both the G100 and the ZV-E10. Yes, I ended up using the ZV-E10 only for video, as I mentioned, especially for talking head videos like what I'm doing right now, because the autofocus during video is actually really great. But for still photography, I still go with my Micro Four Thirds cameras, my G100, my GX85, my G85, my GF9. My Micro Four Thirds cameras, I think, perform better for photography because they are more intuitive to use. Okay, so there's a difference between paper specification when you read the specification and when you are actually using the camera on the field. Now, Micro Four Thirds might not seem impressive when you read the specs, but once you handle the camera and use it to take pictures when you are out and about, doing some photography, taking some pictures here and there, you'll start to understand why they are making sense to use for photography. And that wraps up today's Q&A session. Hopefully this has been entertaining, fun, informative as well. And yeah, hopefully I will be able to do this again in the future, and I will make sure to tag you guys in the description so that you know that I already answered your comments and questions. Anyway, don't forget to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video, subscribing to my channel down below. And if you want to support my work even further, I would really appreciate you guys if you join my Patreon membership. In Patreon, I will be able to share some great stuff. For example, photos that I captured myself using my Micro Four Thirds cameras and lenses, so that you'll be able to download them in high quality and use them as phone background or as your computer's wallpaper, stuff like that. I will share my Lightroom presets and exclusive contents. For example, I will post a full-blown travel photography course in my Patreon as well as in my YouTube membership based on my expertise, experience, and knowledge doing travel photography for more than 10 years. That will be exclusive on Patreon and YouTube membership. So yeah, if you are interested, please make sure to join. And also you can purchase my travel photography ebook called Simplifying Travel Photography, link in the description below. Or you can also use super thanks button to make a small donation to my channel. That will be greatly appreciated. Thank you, and I will see you guys on the next video. Goodbye.